Yes, well, the party has started up. Widemouth Mason is playing, and they're going to be continuing on through the night. In this very same square, though, yesterday, we had our first look at the Olympic torch. Tonight, a sneak peek now at the staging of the actual sporting events at the Games next year. CTV's Whistler Bureau Chief Sarah Galashan catches up with the woman in charge of exactly what you'll see in 2010.
Pamela, we know that Van Ock's been testing their operations at the various venues, but there's more to it than just whether or not the tracks or the jumps are up to snuff.
World Cup champion, representing Canada, Mr. John Montgomery.
John Montgomery leapt onto the podium when he won World Cup gold and did a little jig. This memorable sports moment brought to you in part by Christy Nicolay.
Today is day one, and we are in rehearsal mode.
Who's charged with overseeing the atmosphere at all Olympic events.
Yeah, because you're like the eyes and ears.
And is spending this World Cup season testing her teams at every venue.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Men's Skeleton Awards ceremony for the Intersport FIBT, Bobsled, and Skeleton World Cup.
This is really, every time we do a sport or a sport event, we try to pay close attention to the culture and demographic of each sport.
To that end, she solicits music requests from the athletes themselves.
The most requested band at cross country was ABBA.
It's a different story for every sport.
The music we play at figure skating is obviously a lot different than we'll play at the half pipe.
At the sliding center, the demographic is younger, so a popular DJ has been hired to spin actual records, taking requests unlike those he gets at any other gig.
Oh gosh, it was really varied. I mean, I saw everything from Metallica to Whitney Houston. There was an athlete that one time did pick Britney Spears, but if I said his name, he'd probably kill me.
Her credentials include everything from MTV to the X Games, not to mention several stints dealing in event production at past Olympic Games.
The most important thing for me is that the spectators are having a good time, that they leave here and they feel really good, and that also they've learned something about the sport.
As executive producer of sport production for the 2010 Olympic Games, she can't guarantee the athlete's first place performance, but she insists it will be a solid gold show.
Sarah, it sounds like the athletes will have some input as to how the Games will look and sound then.
Well, yes, and talking to Christy, she said it's really important to her that, and to Van Ock, that the athletes are reflected in these events. So to that end, I decided to delve a little deeper and got my hands on one of the request sheets. And I can tell you, and I won't name any names here, but one of the Canadian skeleton athletes put in a request to hear "Video Killed the Radio Star," "Pump Up the Jam," and "Eye of the Tiger." I'm told that the bobsleigh and skeleton teams, the women really like to cut loose to alleviate some of the pressure of competition, so maybe that can explain all of the 80s pop in the request sheet.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Thanks a lot for this, Sarah. And now back to Bill in the studio.
Thank you, Pamela. A Saskatchewan man who admitted losing his preschool